And up next is Blood of Fate, World 99, book number 1, written by Dan Sergolanoff. It's also titled a LitRPG Wuxia series. There you go on the title. That actually has been modified. I think last time I checked, it's just LitRPG, but we'll get into that. It is 495 pages, $3.99. It is available on Kindle Unlimited. And here's the author's description. The body of young paralyzed Luca, a boy killed by cruel bullies, becomes home to an interdimensional traveler. This is the 99th world for the traveler who has spent an entire life in each of his previous worlds. And now, he is out of lives, his previous misdeeds leaving him with a negative balance of points and preventing him from reincarnating anew. Once he realizes that he must spend his final life in a poverty-stricken family in a backward world, he awakens the consciousness of the deceased Luca and ends his own physical existence, leaving all of his abilities to his heir. One such ability is the use of the wheel. Every traveler can spend points to spin the wheel and gain a special talent, a superpower, or a deadly illness. Luca spins the wheel and gains the superpower metamorphosis. Now he can regenerate, recover from deadly wounds, and even take on the shape of other beings. The young man takes on the form of the Emperor to avoid death, help his family, and finally, to bring order to the Empire. And that is actually a lot of spoilers in the novel description. Like genuinely, like those are really big plot points. And that is the story. There are other aspects of it that I thought I'll be talking about in the review, but that's a lot of spoilers. Full disclosure, I did receive Van's copy for review. I purchased the novel when it became available. I also noted that there are a few more than usual translation errors in the version I got. It may be because I got an early copy. I just happened to notice. Okay, I like this novel. It's nice and it's fun. It is, however, light lit RPG. There's no like heavy progression system here. It's actually even lighter than the Level Up series that the author has written, or the Discardium series from the author. It's the lightest RPG progression system. The main character, and there was a way, again, this is slightly out of date, obviously, but when it was originally published, it was called a LitRPG Wuxia series. Or Wuxia, depending on how you're pronouncing it. Just by now. But the Wuxia series, part of it is absolutely non-existent in the story. And the cover art kind of hints at it's supposed to be that. But there's no Eurasian influences in the story. There's no Wuxia. And so I'm not sure it was a marketing thing or a decision from publishers, but that doesn't exist. And the publishers have since, because of the multiple reviews saying, oh, this isn't Wuxia, have removed that part from the story. The story itself is entertaining. It starts in two parts. First, with Lucas, a boy with a severe disability who seems to live in a medieval tech civilization. He has a crappy life and can barely will himself around and is bullied. The second part starts with an interdimensional traveler that reincarnates and lives lives for fun with a game-like interface that tracks his deeds, awards currency when he gains influence, or does something that maintains universal balance, and grants skills and powers that can increase in power via a random wheel of fate. The traveler, however, is tired of his existence, especially when he's out of a currency and needs for even one more reincarnation. Instead, he transfers his interface to the body he's hosted in Lucas, who gets healed of a disability and thrust into a position where he can grow in power. Most of the novel follows Lucas, the main character, as he is betrayed by those in power, gets his revenge, and grows in strength. I actually think that portion of it that I just mentioned might have been what the publishers were looking at for the Wuxia part. But that's kind of the only thing I could have seen there. Much of the story is just seeing how messed up this part of the world is, how the main character through events I won't spoil tries to improve things, but has to constantly overcome obstacles in his path. Most of the obstacles are political or social in nature, but towards the end there is a little bit of fighting and action. This is an entertaining story. I did like it. Again, not Wuxia, but again, not really an issue since they stopped putting that in the title. As far as being LitRPG, absolutely is. If it is light LitRPG again, there is the interdimensional traveler interface, which shows earned karma points called Tsoui, Tsoui, which are used to purchase spins on the Wheel of Fate, possibly getting the main character special new powers or detriments. I like the fact that there was a balance there. Those powers increase in levels as the main character uses them, thus there is a progression system. However, there are also long stretches of the story where none of that matters. None of that is actually even mentioned. And the main character himself doesn't consciously do anything to improve. It's just he's doing things, and occasionally he'll get like a notification saying you've improved this skill, or this power has improved. It's more automatic or situational when the power itself improves him according to this situation. I'm not trying to spoil things for you guys, but it's a very interesting and nice little power. Overall, I like the story. As they do all the authors of the writings, the story is a bit darker than his other works, but it was still really fun to see where the main character came through, how he overcame all the challenges and the unforeseen consequences. It was that was probably the best part, like to see how beat down he got by everybody and all the situations and all the culture, and how he still tried to get through it. His power is a little OP, but his mentality of trying to do justice or trying to improve things was definitely one that kind of balanced that out. So for me, I'd down with it. Not my favorite of the author's works, but still an interesting story. Again, light LitRPG though. Score of 7.3 out of 10. That's Blood of Fate, World 99, book number 1. LitRPG Wuxia series with the score of, again, 7.3 out of 10.